The squirrel was magic! Beware your human heart. Welcome to the Diabolical Index, the non-entry version. It's February 26th, where the uncanny reside. Coming to you live from the Nut House in Mount Healthy, Ohio. Not normal our regular digs, but this is slightly different. I had to take a hovercraft here over the deluge, the river swollen, overflowing in Rising Sun, Indiana. So I was already in the Lawrenceburg area, so I had taken the back roads through the wilds of 262 and Dillsboro to get to work. So I decided to come up here and see the headquarters of Magic Squirrel Network. So here I am. We're doing a non-entry today, and also while I was in the neighborhood, I had a few hours to spare, so I decided to do what I normally do when I have a few hours to spare, which was hit the bookshops. And when people always say, hey, I'm crazy, I'm a bibliomaniac, I read so much, and I'm just insane when I go to those bookstores and stuff. I'm like, hold my beer, because I got a few here, here and there and here and there and there and here and there. You know how it goes. But I went crazy. I got some movies too. Let's see. I got Raw Meat. Oh yeah, Raw Meat. Let's see. Donald Pleasance.
Back up a little bit. There you go. Right.
Donald Pleasance is Cannibals in the Tube. So that's cool. I got Cube, which I've never seen. A lot of people have told me about Cube. I should see it, and I never had, because it seems like the only one I could ever find was Cube Zero, or there's another Cube. I can't remember what it's called now. Malice in Wonderland. I have no idea what that's about. I think it's a kind of like a British gangster version of Alice in Wonderland. And Agaria, The Wrath of God, the famous Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski movie. I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't know. I don't really watch Werner Herzog, but I figure that I'm not really a movie fan unless I at least try it out. But one of the things we do around here is go through the births and deaths. I couldn't find any notable deaths in the next couple of days, but there were definitely a couple of notable births. Absolutely. One of the births was Theodore Sturgeon. Ted Sturgeon. They might have called him Teddy. I think he was a contemporary to Philip K. Dick around in that time period. A very unusual. It seems on one side of the coin he was really super far out, but there was always a sensibility about him of the everyday Americana that got turned on its head inside out, like a singularity. He wrote The Dreaming Jewels, More Than Human, A God Body, one called Venus X. I think it was Venus X Prime, but I can't be sure about that. But it was there were some psychedelic points, but it always came back around home. I think that he may have actually been a trucker before he became a writer. I've heard a lot of stuff of people talking to him in little dived greasy spoons and things about what he was going to do next. And I think Harlan Ellison was a big fan of his as well. But that's one of the births, February 26th. I'm not sure what year. I think that he's passed away. The other notable birth in literary circles was Victor Hugo, the author of Les Mis, the original Les Mis, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which has been remade a few times. Most notably, in my opinion, Lon Chaney, and then probably second to that, Charles Laughton, and then who's that other guy? Anthony Quinn, and then later on, some guy named Walt Disney made a film about him. I don't know. All I do know is Victor Hugo is not the namesake that they used for the Hugo Award of the Science Fiction Writers of America. They were actually going for Hugo Gernsback, the creator of Amazing Stories magazine. And I held a misconception about that for a long, long time. I thought that they were getting it from Victor Hugo, even though that made no sense at all whatsoever, because I don't think he ever had I think the closest thing to any kind of science fiction element was, I guess, a little bit of the mutant, a little bit of the Hulk, and Quasimodo. Quasi meaning part, and modo meaning made. So, half made. Kind of like Richard III in that aspect. And speaking of Richard III, we have some Shakespearean type things for you tonight on the non-entry version of Diabolical Index. Also, I'm sitting, which is unusual for me. Usually I'm standing and holding court, but number one, there is a comfy couch in the nut house, so I took advantage of it, and he tried to make me feel at home with the ambiance, and also when I was on my book hunting, I started to feel not so great, so I'm partaking in a little bit of hot cinnamon spice tea from Churchill's, and he did it all up with a little tea bulb. And Andrew Moore, he makes himself out to be this everyman, this normal Joe, this average guy, and don't you believe it? He's got all kinds of little intellectual things going on, and he's, I watched him take a sip of his Rheingeist with his pinky extended. Total aristocrat. Never let him tell you different. I don't care who is listening. The man is cultured.
Big Curly says he's here. You book
Big Curly says I'm a book what now? A book megalomaniac.
And Paul thinks the candles are fake.
And Paul thinks the candles are fake. I can't think of anything that I really want to burn down here right now. I guess I could singe some hair if you want me to. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. But yes, that sounds like a challenge. That sounds like, that's what someone tells you. On my non-entries, that's everybody's. Everybody tries to get the lunatics out on the non-entries. I don't know if I come off a little more relaxed or what the deal is. Andrew was actually setting up the cameras, and he said, "Well, make sure that you pay attention to this one when you get serious." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm serious. Is that serious enough for you? I don't know. Am I ever that serious?" But what is serious is Cinematic Reality has an Indiegogo account campaign coming up, and make sure to throw your coins at that, because Brandon Pruitt has put together a massively awesome second go around. The first directing.
You work on the script, didn't you, or did you just get to read it?
I got to read the script, and I was. I don't know. I think everybody's gonna think it's a shameless plug, but I don't really care, because I'm real stickler for good writing, and I was really impressed by the dialogue and by the sheer punch and heart and believability of all of it. So I think it's gonna be a triumph when they get it pulled off. And make sure you go to the Indiegogo campaign, and whatever you can put in there will help. You got to support the Lords of Ohio County Indie Horror Studio 605 with Brandon Pruitt at the helm, and everybody's going to be on there. Andrew's is going to be a part of it, and TJ from Heckles and Horror is going to be there. Who knows? I don't know. They might convince me to come back. I've heard tell that my character from that movie that won't be mentioned in the.
You can mention that one. It's the first one.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I've been told that you can't. The original is not to be spoke of, but the Campground requel, someone had mentioned perhaps, and I don't know. There is a little bit of a plug in the script, so maybe somebody will pick up on that. But definitely go check that out. Brandon Pruitt, Studio 605, Cinematic Reality. And the second one you should look out for, as pertains to Magic Squirrel Network, is the GoFundMe account for the making of a new theme song for Pointless Discussions. And I can't remember the name of the artist who's going to be doing it. Royish Good Looks. Gotta love that. I'm a punster at heart, and they say that that's where insanity comes from. But I don't know. I can't help it. I love it. I love every little bit of it. Every time I can. I was going to and I don't know. Keeping an eye out for this. I've had an inkling lately about doing another couple of podcasts. Maybe not around here. I wouldn't want to take up too much space, but I've got some friends north that I thought about doing a podcast called Non-Connery that would have to do with the spy movies or the action movies that come out that try to be like the popular ones but don't quite pull it off. And another one was maybe Lee Curtis, has to do with female-driven horror that comes out after the I'm trying to put it out there, so I trademark these. If anyone thinks they're going to pilfer them, just think twice, because Magic Squirrel's looking out for me. I'm
ready to go with the cinematic reality thing.
Oh, and also, there's a fan of Brandon Pruitt of Studio 605 that, while on break one day, made a completely outlandish, old school 70s, 80s TV spot type recording for cinematic reality. And just a disclaimer before you listen to this little mock TV spot, everything you hear in this TV spot, the only thing that has to do with cinematic reality in and of itself is the title. Everything else in it makes it seem like a completely different movie, but it's fun. I mean, you've seen those previews online where they changed the music to... What's that? It's on me.
No, yeah, it's all you that was on it.
Oh yeah, it's all. Oh yeah, it's all me. And I was talking to Andrew. I said that I must have looked skip. Yeah, if you don't believe that it's real, watch that. Check that out. Yeah, Paul, check it out. That's real flames. Right next to all this electronic equipment. But yeah,
Dangerously down here in that house.
we live dangerously in the nut house. But I was in my car doing it on my lunch break, and I must look like a schizophrenic, but I just, I explained that with the advent of Bluetooth, probably just looked like I was having an argument. So, anyway, you ready to rock? Okay. Listen to this craziness.
As soon as I get to it.
As soon as it gets to it.
Keep talking.
It's been a technical night.
Alright, I'm ready now. And here we go.
Here we go.
If you think you're prepared for it, think again. I don't know what we're doing here, man. The next thing to come from Studio 605 is the next thing. From Brandon Pruitt, the writer and director of The Woods Within. It's not a hallucination. It's not a nightmare. We're in hell. It's cinematic reality.
So there you go. Like I said, I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I told everyone, I said, they asked me where I came up with it, and there were 6 trailer voice guys back in the day you wouldn't hear a trailer come out without their voice being attached to it some kind of way. And there was one, especially from the 70s, and he did, I think he did Basket Case, the trailer for Basket Case, the Henenlotter film, and Chud. I think he was on Chud as well. Cannibalistic Human. No, I challenge everyone. Anyone who knows what Chud, without looking on Google, what Chud stands for, write that in the comments below. And I'll if you get it right, you put your address on there, I'll shoot some stickers from Paradox City Books and Games, the home of the Diabolical Index, normal home. And actually, maybe that shouldn't be a prize. Maybe everybody should let us know if they are interested in them. I think we showed them last time, right? I don't have any with me.
Yeah, we showed them last time.
Just
I have.
Trust me, they're cool. They're all cool. All designed by me.
Actually, it's over here. It looks just like that. Just point over there.
What?
Point there.
Oh, yeah, it looks like that. Sorry, I'm not used to this stuff yet. All this virtual stuff looks like that. And also, soon, I don't know, I had to...
Is it getting hot?
No.
Oh.
I was just kind of messing with it. I'm trying to make any undue noise over here. I actually have some Diabolical Index stickers coming. I had to alter the... There you go again. It's real. Fire's real. I had to alter the sticker slightly because I had left some color in there. I mean, if you look at the logo, there's not a whole lot of color, and I thought they might be able to just kind of fudge it, but it's black and white only, so I had to redesign that part of it. And hopefully one of these days I'll be able to get a full color one. And hopefully one of these days I'll be able to get my t-shirt going. I've been slacking on that ever since the Great Deluge. I don't know. It's been so difficult to get from here to there that a lot of things are kind of gone. What's that now?
The viewers probably don't know that.
Oh, if the viewing audience doesn't know, Rising Sun, Indiana, the home of Paradox City Books and Games, the Diabolical Index, part of it was underwater. In my hometown, Aurora, Indiana, it looks like the bottom of a fish tank in a lot of places, and I don't know. It's irritating because seeing the photographs of it just seems like everyone is posting photographs, and it's nettling me because people fishing. There was one fun one where somebody was acting like it was a gondola in Venice, like the streets of water and all that kind of jazz. But in Aurora, at least, they just started rebuilding some stuff down there and getting some businesses and different fun things down there. I don't know if, in friend of the podcast, Great Crescent Brewery, I don't know if they're affected at all. I used to actually do something like I do in the podcast here. I used to do something down there, as well, themed book talks, and, I used to get food and some of that craft beer out of it. It was fantastic. But it's just one of those things where it's a little bit easier to get it out in the podcast, but a shout out to them.
Seth is here, a preacher of the night.
Preacher of the night? Is that what he's saying? Yeah. Preacher of the night with a P?
I think so.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it. Preacher of the night. Wow. I'm loving that. I might have to... That may have to be on the back of my personal T-shirt. I was going to put the Diabolical Index logo and then Beware Your Human Heart on the back, but I don't know. I may have to put... What's that now?
I can pull up the sticker real quick if you want to see it.
What's that? A sticker for...
Diabolical Index.
Diabolical Index? Yeah, if you want. Go ahead and pull it up. Left, right, center?
It's like on your face right now.
Oh. All right, best place for it. I can't think of a better thing to obscure than this gigantic mug of mine. It probably looks even bigger now that I'm in repose in the good there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over there.
Yeah, that's it's up now.
Okay, cool.
I guess you left it on the handle, the color.
Yeah, so I had to wriggle a little bit of black and white out of it. They kind of told me that it was going to be kind of like pointillism. If anyone's ever noticed that painting, and I think that it was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where there's that really weird melancholic scene in the museum where Cameron's like having a stroke or something, and he looks into that that painting, and it's nothing but dots, and you can see the dots getting closer and closer, and that's kind of what anything other than black and white turns out to be on those stickers, which you're incredibly interested in, I'm sure. No, you're not. Anyway,
Cannibal Human Underground Dweller Chud.
What was it now? Cannibal Human Underground Dweller?
Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller.
Who said that? Who said cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller?
I think it was Mark, and then Matthew said it as well.
Mark and Matthew?
Yeah.
Both from the Bible, straight out of the Bible. Oh, that figures. This sounds like a lot of Googling to me. Where am I at? Am I on the serious cam, or am I on the...
Serious.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like a lot of Googling to me if it wouldn't have been Matthew Vaughn. But I think, yeah, if you want some stickers, I think you probably have most of them, but I don't know. I've had a couple made since then, so if you want some, just hit me up. He doesn't have to leave his address. He's one of the fantastic firemen down in Ohio County, so I'm sure I'll see him around. I can throw some his way. But, okay. Andrew's going off about the technology. Apparently, this camera has managed to make my face look decent. So, we'll see. I don't know. Do you see the difference? I just moved from serious cam to awesome cam, or whatever you'd like to call this damn thing. Anyway, without further ado, I guess we could start with the actual reason why I was here tonight, which is to go through this wonderful, fantastic book right here. To Be or Not to Be by Ryan North. Ryan North is a writer of Adventure Time comics off the television show, and also most fantastically, my little girl Lucy's gonna be overjoyed when she finds out that he wrote The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. So basically, he posits that Hamlet wasn't always a play. It was always a game where you went in as one of the characters and went through all the proceedings as one of those characters, and it doesn't have to go on the way it does in the play or in the book version of the play, Shakespeare's version. You can actually, let me see. He says a choosable path adventure. There may have been some copyright nonsense on that. But it also says here, Utterly Brilliant by Lev Grossman, who wrote The Magicians, and that series, which became a television show. And Lev Grossman he's quickly becoming a foremost man of letters, and he's done speaking gigs at different little collegiate places. Literary giants have stood, and as soon as I discovered this, I was pumped to do it, because not only is it one of the few choose your own adventures that I think actually doesn't patronize people of any age, really, it's pretty massive. So there's a total probability even, that we may not get through all of it tonight, but I think that the journey might be just as fun, if not funner, than the destination. And there are a lot of people who will tell me that funner isn't a word. Guess what? Okay, so if you'd like to begin, let's see here. I'm going to see what the best way of doing this is without burning the whole place down.
You need me to move some?
No, I'm good. I mean, we wouldn't want Paul to think that they're fake candles now, would we? To Be or Not to Be. A Choosable Path Adventure by Ryan North, Shakespeare, and You, it says. You want to see this illustration? It looks like Ophelia and Hamlet having a little bit of argument as where they're going to go. A la practically every National Lampoon's Vacation movie that's ever existed, with Hamlet Griswold and Ophelia Griswold. But let's see. Okay. Introduction. Let me get another illustration. There's not an illustration. It's a painting. It's one of the most famous paintings of Shakespeare. Okay. Which Shakespeare looked nothing like this. He had boils on his face. He was about 5,000 pounds. Or he was multiple people. Check it out. There's a book out there called Players that talks about the conspiracy about whether or not Shakespeare was multiple people. So, introduction. William Shakespeare, 1564 AD, or to whatever he died. That's what it says. I'm not making anything up. When I go through this, it's all what's written on the page. Was well known for borrowing from existing literature when writing his plays. Romeo and Juliet is pretty much lifted entirely from Arthur Brooks' poem, The Tragical History of Romeo and Juliet. Dude didn't even change the names. And, as recent Shakespeare scholarship has established, the famed play, William Shakespeare Presents, Hamlet, was lifted wholesale from the volume you're about to enjoy. To be or not to be. To be or not to be is both the earliest recorded example as books as game genre, as well as the first instance ever in the then newish English language that was kicking around of an adventure being chosen by you, the reader. We've gone ahead and added illustrations. Plus, we've taken the liberty of marking with tiny Yorick skulls. Everybody knows who Yorick is. The choices Shakespeare himself made when he plagiarized this book in olden times. They're there, just in case you wish to put yourself in Shakespeare's shoes. Reading this book as he did, stealing plot elements wholesale, and then classing up the language as he, you, went, go. However, that is not the way, and it's not the only way, to read this book. Feel free to explore your other options, and each time you read this book, you can go on a different adventure. Assuming you don't read the book, oh boy. 3 quintillion, 1 quadrillion, 181 trillion, 439 billion, 94,525,001 times.
That's how many there really is?
Probably not. That's probably not. He said, that's how many there really is? Probably not. At which point their adventures will start to repeat, and they'll probably seem pretty familiar before then anyway. Now take yourself back to history, when ghosts walked the earth, and nobody knew velociraptors were ever even a thing. Steel yourself to experience the magic of Shakespeare, as it was meant to be experienced, in a non-deterministic narrative structure, where you end up thinking maybe you made a wrong decision. So you mark the pages you were just on, so you can always go back and make a different decision, just in case you die because of something dumb. To be or not to be, that is the adventure. Ryan North, noted Shakespeare scholar / enthusiast. Okay, here we go. If you want to choose your character, turn to page 1. Man, what if I just read the acknowledgments instead? Turn to 267. We're going to choose our character. We're not even going to 267. What do you think about that? Okay. Now we got, before you go over there, let's see an illustration here. These are the characters. 3 of the famous characters from Hamlet. Should be Hamlet at the top. I'm not looking at it, of course. Hamlet, Ophelia, and King Hamlet. Hamlet's father. And they probably don't look too enthused. Am I up here now? Number 1. You've just been born! Congratulations. I think I just scared the dogs. You've just been born. Congratulations. Good work on that thing. Now, surprise! Babies are boring. So we're going to jump ahead in time to a point where you're an adult and you've already lived a bunch of your life. But I promise, most of what we're skipping was really dull. You ate a lot and slept a lot and made some friends, tears were shed, makeouts were totally had, etc. It was a bunch of high school stuff. The awesome stuff starts now. So, let's begin, my friend. Remind me again who you are? Ophelia? She's an awesome lady in her late 20s with a calm, competent, and resourceful demeanor. She's got a +1 bonus to science, but she's also got a -1 weakness against water, so heads up. Hamlet? He's an emo teen in his early 30s. As you can tell, I haven't read this yet. This is really funny. Also, he's the Prince of Denmark. Hamlet has a +1 resistance to magic. But there's no magic in this adventure, so this never gets mentioned again, as of right now. Hamlet Sr., he's the King of Denmark. 50 years old, say. He's super good at fighting and leading men into battle and naps. Let's say +1 to each. Look, bottom line. He's an unstoppable machine of death. And should you choose to be him, you may experience kingly glory. I don't know which camera I'm on. Sorry. Okay, so the question that I've got for you, audience, is, do you want to play as Ophelia, which we would turn to 31? You want to play as Hamlet, turn to 14? Or would you like to play as Hamlet Sr., 444? And also, if you can't decide who to choose, remember the pictures. Excuse me. Remember the pictures I just showed you.
Let's say put up the picture real quick so that they can...
I was going to have them remember.
No one remembers.
No one remembers anything.
So yeah, pick a character.
So you've got about, what were you on, 10 seconds, 15 seconds? You've got about 30 seconds to pick a character.
We're on 10-second delay.
Yeah, I'm giving 20 seconds to catch up. So, I wanted to thank Andrew Moore again for having me in the Nut House at Magic Squirrel Network, where the good things happen, and more happening all the time. There are actually a couple of new shows that might be coming up in the future that sound like a lot of fun. There's one lurking in the mist that may have to do with anime, manga, and kaiju, which may be coming up. And the one that everyone's excited for, the Brandon Pruitt movie review show. We'll see if that actually happens. Previews. Things have been made about it. Different things, different signs, memes, logos are being worked on as we speak. But you know, they're bigger fish to fry. So cinematic reality may come first on that one. We'll see what happens. And when he's reviewing other movies, he might be the harshest critic toward his own stuff. You never know.
We have 2 for Ophelia.
2 for Ophelia.
Say it again because we got like three more viewers. So
3 more viewers. Okay, so you 3, thank you for stopping by. You can pick to be Ophelia, the famous heroine and very, very desperate creature. You can be Hamlet, the King of Denmark, or the Prince of Denmark, rather. Sorry. Spoiler: he does become a king at one point. But the next character and last character is King Hamlet the First, the King of Denmark, who is a deadly death machine on the battlefield. So who knows which way this group is going to go. But if we got 2 for Ophelia, I don't know. It might just tip the balance. Hamlet was the hero in the old story, so
it's overwhelmingly Ophelia.
It's overwhelmingly Ophelia.
Everyone's saying Ophelia.
Awesome.
No one has said anything else.
Well, I mean,
like 5 votes for Ophelia.
5 votes for Ophelia. You want to stick around for more? You want to push on? Let's push on. I mean, this is probably 3 times as large as the normal choose your own adventure that we've been dealing with. And as I told him, we may not get through all this tonight, but it ought to be fun. And check this out. I marked them all 3 in advance so I could go straight to Ophelia. Okay, right. You're Ophelia. You are a beautiful and independent young woman. And although it makes you roll your eyes when you think about it, you've fallen in love with a prince. Prince Hamlet is funny and charming, and he seems to like you a lot. You try not to get too excited about it because you're worried you might jinx it, because things are really going great. Only it's been hard doing the long-distance thing while you've both been off at university. And while you've loved studying capital S science, and you're sure Hamlet's loved studying capital U undeclared, it hasn't been easy. Now that you're both back together in Denmark for his father's funeral and his mother's second wedding, it's been harder still. Hamlet's really sad, and you can't blame him. Since, his dad died, but you wish there was something you could do to help him. When you last saw him, Hamlet mentioned how the castle seemed old and drafty. For some reason, it stuck with you. You've been sitting at your desk trying to think of something you could give him that would help with that. A way of cheering him up a little. Remind him he's still got people who care about him. He wears these cloaks all the time. But then he's taking them off in warm rooms and putting them back on in cold ones. There's some way you could keep the rooms in uniform temperature. But to do that, you need some way of measuring heat. And a way of transporting it throughout the castle. Perhaps through a series of pipes. Your thoughts are interrupted by a knock at your door. "Who is it?" you call. "It's me," says your brother. "Come on, let me in." If you want to let him in, go to 361. If you want to tell him you're busy, you turn to 359. What'll it be? Are you letting in your brother? What sister ever lets in their brother when they knock on the door? I mean, seriously. Especially this girl. She's got a lot on her mind. She wants to, it sounds like she wants to create central heating. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens. She could set fire to the place. Historically, spoiler, Ophelia is, she's got some suicidal tendencies. So, she likes to take long baths with her mouth facing towards the bottom of the ocean. Or I guess it was a river. Some kind of tributary. I don't know. Something like that. Someone gets a sticker if they can spell tributary without looking it up. Maybe. I don't know. If you can remember what I just said. I don't know. Who can tell? Why am I hearing my own voice? I'm so proud of all of you for picking Ophelia. What a 21st century thing to do. Got to give her her due. She was one of those helpless, over-romantic, suicidal maidens when they didn't get what they wanted in these old Shakespearean plays. They just offed themselves. Like, "Oh God, Romeo's dead. Guess I better, I forget. Did she commit harakiri? I think did he take the poison and she stabbed herself? I can't remember. I think she stabbed herself.
Yeah, because she faked her death.
So actually, yeah, faked her death with the poison, so then he took the real stuff and went out like a little bitch, and then she actually stabbed herself like a samurai. So I guess Juliet isn't a very good...
We got 3 for busy.
3 for busy. We're gonna hold out for 5, right? We had 5 that were all about the Ophelia, so... Wait... Is this just a bunch of followers? Is that what's going on here? Is this going to be unanimous votes for one thing and that's it? Is that all we're ever going to get? Are we going to have any split decisions? Are we going to have any tiebreakers?
I would open up the door for him.
You would open up the door for him? I can always count on Andrew to be the contrarian in the thing. Although I don't know. When TJ was here, he was all about the. He was a berserker. Last time we did that, he was like, "Yeah, running headlong. Yeah, set the fire to the force with yourself in it. That's fine. That ought to work good. Didn't they do that in Lord of the Rings? Yeah, didn't they?" It's like, yeah, in Lord of the Rings also, they threw a freaking sword at Aragorn and cut his finger off. But I don't know.
Say it again so everyone knows.
If you want to let your brother in as Ophelia, you turn to 361. If you want to tell him that you're busy and to buzz off, jump off a parapet somewhere, turn to 359.
Yeah, I think everyone was confused because you went straight from that into a rant. So.
Oh. I tend to rant, and also my inhibitions are lowered. When I was looking for books, I've been taking care of the girls all weekend, and I'm not so sure that some of it didn't pass on to me. So I'm kind of glad that I'm sitting down this time. But I don't know. At least I'm a little more animated than I expected. I thought that I would be real dour and cranky and whatever. But I don't know. People like my rants. They've told me so.
All right, say them again. One more time.
If you want to let your brother in, you're going to turn to 361. And if you want to tell him you're busy, you're going to 359. Those two are really close together in the book, which is rare. Usually they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. So I'm not so sure that it doesn't come to the same thing. We'll see. But what are we going to do? Time's a-wasting. You letting them in, or are you busy?
We got 2 for opening.
2 for opening.
3 for...
3 for busy? 3 for busy. Okay, we're going for busy. We're going to 359. I'm busy! You shout through the door to Laertes. Well, I'm leaving for France soon, he shouts back. Don't you want to say goodbye? Well, apparently not, you shout in reply. Whatever, Laertes yells. He storms off, stomping all the way. You sit in silence for a moment. He stomps back. Say bye to Dad for me, okay? He shouts. Okay, I will, you yell through the door. He storms off again. To France, I guess? Brothers, am I right? Return to your work. Go to 323.
Oh, we don't even get a choice?
Nope. Checks for you. At your desk, you continue your work on the problem of automatically heating the castle. Hours turn into days, and you're generally left alone by both your family and your boyfriend. Your father ignoring you is no big deal, and while you're a little worried about Hamlet not stopping by more often, he has asked you to leave him alone for a while he mourns. And you're respecting his wishes, right? But if you're going to be honest with yourself, you've also gotten yourself really absorbed in this problem. You decide to split the problem into sections, delivering heat and knowing when to deliver heat. It would be possible to put servants in every room and have them report when it's too cold, but that was both expensive and unreliable. It depends on the servant, the warmth of the room, the warmth of their clothes, how much they love the people, and how much temperature their skin is sensing, and so on. You're wondering the castle grounds when it hits you. You've been thinking about how water expands when it freezes, and how that could be used to tell you when it's cold, but it's not much use for measuring temperatures outside the freezing point. Your father, Polonius, happens to wander by, talking to himself about the evils of drink, and you realize, alcohol. The right alcohol would expand linearly. The right alcohol would expand linearly with heat. And by putting it in a slender glass vial, you've got a universal, comparable, and consistent way of measuring heat. You wouldn't have to rely on a servant's impression. They could just tell you what line the alcohol has reached. You run back to your room and start working on the prototype. Just as you complete it, you hear a knock at the door. Who is it? You call. And oh my, who should answer from the other side of the door? Seriously, who should answer from the other side of the door? Hamlet? Turn to 328. Your father, Polonius? Turn to 347. Your best friend, Dorisimimamis? Turn to... I swear to God, Dorisimimamis is what it says. Turn to 543. So basically, your boyfriend Hamlet, your father, or your best friend. Dorisimimamis. Dromiceiomimos. Dorisimimamis. Something like that. I love Mises to pieces. Remember that? You're probably too young for that.
I don't remember that.
Oh my God.
What was it?
That was, oh my God, I forgot myself. What's that guy's name? Is that Pink Tiger? Or Pink Lion? He's saying, exit, stage left. Damn it, I can't remember who that guy was now. I think it started with an S. I'm asking everybody to remember, and I can't remember myself. That sucks. Snaggletooth. That's who it was. No, Snagglepuss. Sorry. Snagglepuss.
We got 3 for best friends, and Tommy Goley said, the best friend because we want him to pronounce his name as many times as possible.
Wait, how many? Are they all best friends?
No, your best friend on the book.
Right, no, but everybody is voting for the best friend, Dorisimimamis.
Yeah.
Got 3 for Dorisimimamis.
Mary said, I'm not spelling that.
Marisa Misa Mimis got 4. Is that 4 of them now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So basically, just because the name is Marisa Misa Mimis, you're gonna have me forego 2 of the most important characters in the entire book. So we got 4 then.
So far, yeah.
Okay, we'll give it another second. Okay, so you guys, you're absolutely sure that you don't want Hamlet, what would have been the star of the show, Polonius, his scheming father, or the best friend, Dorisimimamis.
Got D-Chick.
D-Chick. That's got so many connotations. Oh my God. Okay.
So I guess it's unanimous.
I guess it's unanimous. Derisa Misa Mimus. Unanimous vote for Derisa Misa Mimus. Derisa Misa Mimus. Derisa Misa Mimus. Okay.
Hang on, wait. Paul wants you to repeat the choices. Oh, you probably already did.
Paul? Okay, we're going on, right?
Yeah.
All right, best friend, Derisa Misa Mimus. 543. I hope Derisa Misa Mimus gets run through as soon as we, some kind of portcullis drops on her head and she's dead right there. I mean, I guess Derisa Misa Mimus could be a boy, too. 540. Oh, my gosh.
We're dead.
Okay, this is funny. Derisa Misa Mimus. 543, right? Hamlet's at the door. That's right. It turns out that simply wishing for someone to be at your door doesn't change who's actually there. You don't control reality with your thoughts, Ophelia. Sheesh. Anyway, Hamlet opens the door and steps into your room. It's me, he says. You haven't seen each other for a while. It's so great to see him. You run up and throw your arms around him and you smooch, just like old times. But the moment passes. When you look at his face, you see concern. He's troubled by something. It's written all over him. If you want to ask him what's troubling him, you turn to 365, number of days in the year. If you wait for him to tell you, which is what would happen, you turn to 334. 365 to tell you what's troubling him. 334 to wait for him to tell you. Play hard to get. You don't care. You're a woman of the world. If you wanted to tell you, he would have told you already, right? I mean, if it was that important, he would have opened up his yap and told you, instead of trying to show you with all these little nonverbal cues that are written all over his face, furrow lines and frown lines and, discoloration and boils.
Tom's like, Hamlet, Hamlet's all, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a pretty big deal.
That's the way Hamlet is. If you don't know this, or by now, Ophelia, I'm a pretty big deal. I'm the Prince of Denmark. I'm a Dane. I'm a great Dane like Scooby-Doo. I heard earlier today that Scooby-Doo's real name is Scoobert Doobert, and Scooby-Doo is short for that. I don't know if I believe that. Actually, Scooby-Doo it's pertinent to the conversation at hand because, believe it or not, there is a serious deficit of choose your own adventure books at the library, and a gigantic stack of them were Scooby-Doo. So I was almost limited to doing an adventure of the Mystery Incorporated pals, but luckily I found Ryan North's books instead, and in fact, the one they had was Romeo and or Juliet. Throwing your theories about that wherever you want to. But it was the second choose your own adventure or a choosable path adventure of Shakespeare that Ryan North had done. And it was so well read and it was so popular that the inner pages were falling out of it. I actually had to have the lady clip them together and put a Post-it note so I wouldn't put it in the overnight drop box and have it fall in there and just like explode in a million pieces. So I ended up finding the precursor to it to be or not to be the Hamlet version. So once again, if you want to find out what's troubling Hamlet, you go to page 365. If you want to wait for him to tell you what it is, you turn to 334.
All right, so we got 4 for 344 and 2 for the other one.
So we got you said we have 4 for wait for him to tell you and 2 for ask him?
We got cold shoulder that bitch, Josh.
Cold shoulder that bitch? Okay.
Not, TJ, ask him what's trouble and be supportive.
Why, TJ? You can see it all. You got such rosy cheeks, man. What a gentleman, I swear to God. But it sounds like so far the cold shoulder is winning the day on this. 4-2?
Yep.
All right, we are moving forward. That bitch has been cold shouldered, according to Josh. So, okay. Wait for him to tell you. 334. You wait, doing nothing. And he pulls away from you and holds you at arm's length. There's an illustration here, but I'm not so sure that it pertains to this. So I'll wait. I'm going to go a little bit further ahead, and then we'll see. You wait, doing nothing. Where am I? Over here? And he pulls away from you and holds you at arm's length. Listen, he says. And then he begins unbuttoning his jacket, taking his garters off. And oh gosh, yes, he's actually doing it. He's fouling his stockings. What's wrong, Hamlet? You ask in alarm. What you say next sounds like that obvious question. But you ask it anyway. Why are you fouling your stockings? Instead of answering, he grabs you by the wrist. You come to the entirely obvious conclusion that he's not acting like himself. The conclusion is reinforced in a few moments when he moves his other hand to his forehead as if he might faint. But instead of fainting, he stares at you intensely. Hamlet, I don't know why you're doing that, you begin, and he sighs really loudly. It's the most intense sigh you've ever heard. It's actually kind of impressive. Look, if you talk to me, I'm sure we can work it, you begin, and he sighs again, so loudly that it literally drowns out your words. I'm not doing it again. Fine, weirdo, let's play the wrist-holding game. Yay! You meet his eyes, and he sighs one of those ultimate sighs again. I'm not doing it again. Then gets up and leaves in what can only be described as the creepiest way possible. Walking with his head wrenched over his shoulder so he can watch you, even though he's crab walking out of the door. Well, that was weird. Maybe he's sick? You decide to check in with your dad, because as annoying as he is, he does have some experience in these matters. Turn to 325. Follow Hamlet and ask him what's wrong. Maybe you can help him sort things out. Turn to 365, the number of days in the year. Here we go again. That's what you get for picking Felicity Mimus, or whatever it was.
So what are we,
You're either going to ask your dad, because he's got some doctoring skills or psychological insight or something like that, or you're going to actually go after him and ask him. So basically, these are the other two options that you passed up. Well, actually, it's only one of the options you passed up, because you cold shoulder him like a bitch, right? So then, but now Apollonius is in the mix now.
Tom says, see, drama queen.
Tom says,
sign what a grown man sighs that often. Or what grown man sighs that often.
What grown man sighs that often? I don't know. I sigh a lot. But, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Alina said Hamlet's such a drama queen.
Always has been. Always has been. I mean, Mel Gibson, right? So, I don't know. I really like that Hamlet. But there are actually a few different versions of Hamlet that are pretty awesome. I think that 10 Things I Hate About You was based on some Shakespearean. That may have been Taming of the Shrew, now that I think about it. There's been all kinds of modern-day retellings of stuff, not even counting that weird Moulin Rouge-looking Romeo and Juliet. Although there were some cool things. I thought that Leguizamo did a good job in that. He was gunslinging all over the place. What are you laughing about?
He said he just got naked in front of his sister. Definitely go talk to Dad.
Is that his sister?
Yeah.
No. No. Laertes is the brother. I think that at most, Hamlet's like a cousin. Which, they're totally cool with that way back in the day. Cousins are just, it's no thing. I have never watched a full episode of Game of Thrones.
You don't like it?
No, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I always get into these things. I try to be immune to the hype, and then I'm immune to the hype, and then all of a sudden I'm on the social media and I see stuff everywhere, so I have to be completely immune to it and like back up, because otherwise everything's going to be completely spoiled. But as a fringe benefit or a deficit, I end up missing out on a lot of cultural stuff because people will make allusions or some sort of comparisons to stuff. And all I know is that, there's a really, really cool short guy. So, and I mean, I know there's incest, and I know that there's all kinds of bodily parts flapping around everywhere. But other than that, I don't know a whole lot about it. But, yeah. How are we doing?
Oh, it's Ask Dad all the way around.
Ask Dad all the way around?
And then Sir Lawrence Oliver is the best Hamlet.
Whoa. Wait, just back up. Sir Lawrence Oliver will not do. It's Sir Lawrence Olivier there, buddy. Don't you work on movies? I was under the impression that you worked on movies.
Says,
Maybe I was wrong. Did you say his name wrong? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. We're going to have a talk. There's going to be an intervention.
Drug-induced Romeo.
Someone said, I like this drug-induced Romeo. Someone is claiming that Hamlet... Wait, Romeo?
That's what he said.
Wait, what? Does he know what we're talking about?
I like drug-induced Romeo.
Oh, he's talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. No, me too. I talk shit about Romeo and Juliet, that movie, because on the whole, I'm not a gigantic Leonardo DiCaprio fan, and Claire Danes... What's that now?
He's making fun of me too.
Well, who is?
Tommy just says...
Oh.
Again, and he said he might as well call him Larry.
Oh! Although, I mean, when you were in the know, when you were an actor that hung out with Laurence Olivier, they did call him Larry. I think Marilyn Monroe called him Larry. But then again, Marilyn Monroe was like swapping recipes with him at some point. I don't know. Okay, so I guess we're going for
we're talking to Dad.
Apollonius. So we're going to 325. 325. You go see your dad. Okay, I think I'm gonna show this illustration because I'm not so sure it makes sense, but we've already read like one of the things on this page. So if it doesn't make sense, it might just not make sense. I don't know. But it looks like pirate stuff. So I don't know what's up. I don't know what's up with that. That might be actually Laertes on the ship or something. I'm not sure. So, serious, Cam? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, you go see your dad. Hey, Dad, is Hamlet sick? You ask, knocking on the door as you open it. Polonius isn't there. Instead, in his room, you find an oversized yet crude papier-mâché Hamlet head and note labeled 3-step plan for replacing Hamlet. Let's take a look at that note, shall we? It reads, Step 1, make Hamlet disguise. There's a check mark next to that one. Step 2, hide behind curtain, then jump out at Hamlet so he gets so scared that he dies. There's no check mark next to that one. That's a relief. Step 3, dispose of body. Wear Hamlet disguise. Take over his life. Okay, this isn't saying that... Oh yeah, it is! I was about to say, this is really creepy. Okay, the next thing it says here is, wow, this is creepy. Turns out your dad is crazy, I guess. And with Hamlet sighing his way through insanity, that's pretty much the two most important men in your life gone bonkers right there. The only ones left are Brother Laertes and King Claudius, and you really don't like those guys that much anyway. Well, Ophelia, you basically have two choices here. You can pretend you didn't see the note, go to Hamlet's room and ask him what's going on. Or you can say, screw these guys and go on vacation. And someone else can deal with this. Or if these two can just dang well figure it out on their own. You've got the money, Ophelia. And you've wanted to get away for a while. So, go ask Hamlet what his friggin' deal is. Go to 365. They really want us to go 365, I think. Or go on vacation. Turn to 354. All these guys are going to go on vacation. I can almost guarantee it.
It says Step 4, practice being a massive drama queen by watching Mob Wives.
Mob Wives, is that what it says? It says Step 4, practice being a massive drama queen by watching Mob Wives. Is that a new thing? That sounds like something from a few years ago during like the reality show thing. But I don't know. I bet that's pretty hairy. I took a quick look at that like Gotti family, growing up Gotti or whatever. But it was so close to the bronzer and the frosted tips of I've almost forgot what it was called. What was that called? Jersey Shore. I've almost like totally erased that from my memory, but it was so close to that I just couldn't hang with it.
What's 354?
354 is go on vacation. The other one is 365 yet again to ask Hamlet what his friggin' deal is. I have to admit, this whole thing with Polonius really threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting that at all. So the question is he already Hamlet then? If Hamlet's acting so weird and all he's doing is sighing instead of talking, is Polonius already Hamlet? Or is Hamlet just going nuts and the plan hasn't begun? Although there was a check mark next to make Hamlet disguise. But wait, I think the papier-mâché head's still there, right? Yeah, there's an oversized papier-mâché head. But I doubt he could actually wear that head. He would look like he was some sort of Mardi Gras festivity thing walking around with that gigantic head. Like me, I suppose.
The choices again?
The choices again are go ask Hamlet what his friggin' deal is, turn to 365, or go on vacation, turn to 354. Vacation. That must have been what that laying out thing was. That illustration. So it was a little bit early, and it had to do with the choice you hadn't even made yet. So is it going to see the future? Is that illustration going to shape the way you move forward in this game story? I don't know. It seems like as soon as I mentioned everybody being a bunch of pikers and followers, they started splitting the difference a little bit. So we'll see. Does that mean that it was just coincidence and I wasn't calling them out on anything, or they knew they were had and they had to back up quick and start acting like they got some spines? I don't know. I'm not intimidating at all. So
we got 4 for going to vacation and 2 for the other.
4 for going on vacation and 2 for asking Hamlet what his friggin' deal is. I'm a damn prophet. So 354. Oh, shit. There's a crazy looking one here. Okay, you got to see this one. Book cam.
And here we go.
It's evil looking.
Back it up a little bit. Up. There we go. Can you open it up a little more?
Someone's peeking in. Let's see. How's that?
Up a little bit. There we go. We're good.
Okay. All right. A few hours later, you're on a boat for England. Yep, it's that easy to make a vacation happen. In fact, I'm kind of surprised you're not reading this book on a real-life vacation. Unless you are, which in case, I'm still kind of surprised. But it is a pleasant surprise. So yay you. Later, haters! You shout as you wait for the deck of the ship down to the pier below. Nobody's there to see you off, though. Woo! You yell to the empty pier. The trip takes itself quite a while. Wind-powered boats, not the fastest mode of transportation, and is pretty uneventful. But the good news is, when you arrive, you've happened to catch England's annual 2 weeks of nice weather. There are all sorts of hunky guys here, too, which is fun because you're pretty sure you kind of just broke up with Hamlet, because as soon as he started acting crazy, you split town. After hanging around your hotel for a few days, you made small talk with 3 people who seem to be non-duds. There's Antonio Tony, the mysterious and sexy tourist. Cleopatra Slim, the friendly, adventurous explorer. And Brother Pat, the religious guy who drinks a lot. Oh, man. So, who do you want to hang out with, though? You have the next few weeks to talk to your chosen person. And, And if you choose the right dialogue option, you may even get them to fall in love with you. That's right. This is a dating simulator, and you're just going to sit there and keep reading this book as long as you get to know a bunch of imaginary people and pretend you're trying to date them. Are you ready? You take a deep breath and decide to chat up Antonio Tony. Turn to 21. Cleopatra Slim. Turn to 340. Or Brother Pat. Turn to 350. So now all of a sudden, you guys wanted to go on vacation, so now she's dating all kinds of weird people on this damn cruise. Good job. Brother Pat! I don't know, for some reason he just kind of seemed like Oakley Dokley to me, talking about the guy, even though he drinks a lot. Or he's a religious guy that drinks a lot. Antonio Tony, Cleopatra Slim, and Brother Pat. Antonio Tony is the mysterious and sexy tourist. Cleopatra Slim is a friendly, adventurous explorer who kind of sounds like a pimp. And Brother Pat is a religious guy who souses it up.
Cleopatra Slim was just turned into a Skinemax movie.
Cleopatra Slim. He stalks the mean streets of Denmark, looking for his next pleasure. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this one. I'm not exactly sure which way you guys are going to go.
Drunk.
The drunk is Brother Pat.
Oh, God.
What's that? Ah! Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Man, this is like that part in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know what to do. Oh, my God. We are so professional. Yep. It's been revealed. This is actually the set of Heckles and Horrors. TJ couldn't be here tonight, so I decided to take his spot. My butt's been residing in his chair. Sorry, buddy. That's what happens when you sleep at the wheel. Not really. It's just that I wasn't going to have Andrew drive all the way down there through 262 and come down to Rising Sun and try to get waterlogged. I just wasn't going to do it. He's too nice of a guy. I mean, he gave me hot cinnamon. He gave me hot ... Yeah, cinnamon spice tea, which is now cold cinnamon spice tea, and it still tastes delicious because Churchill tea. You're awesome. But yeah, I wasn't gonna have him come down there, so here I am. Sorry, the veil was lifted. We were exposed. It's not the first time. It won't be the last. What do we got on the votes? Who wants Antonio Tony? Nobody. I bet they're all going for Cleopatra Slim. Brother Pat. Brother Pat's the drunk. 2 and 2 on Cleopatra and the drunk. Yep. Nobody's going for Antonio Tony, the star of Scarface 2. I'm amazed. 2 and 2. Who's going to break the tie? Who's going to do it? I'm really surprised. I don't know. I guess that the drunk is kind of attractive. I guess there are all kinds of hijinks that could go on there. But I don't know. The adventurer, he'll probably just die in 2 seconds. Like, I don't know. This has got a pretty dark sense of humor. I'm actually a little surprised that it's gone off in this tangent. I have a feeling something bad's going to happen. Because it was kind of like bringing us back around to the other stuff before. Is it 3-2 now? Who's the 3?
The drunk.
The drunk is 3?
Mary said the drunk.
Mary said the drunk? What about that? Was that a new one that just came? I heard a ping. I heard a ping. Was that a new...
It was a private message.
Okay. There are no private messages on the Diabolical Index non-entry edition. Come on now. Okay, so it's the drunk?
Yep, 3 for 2.
All right.
Let's see if we have anybody else real quick. Let me back out.
Okay, unless something happens in the next couple of seconds, it's going to be Brother Pat. Brother Pat.
It's probably how you say
Hi, I'm Brother Pat.
You have to do his dialogue for now on like that.
Oh, my God. You think I won't, but I will. I go, hi, how you doing, Brother Pat? Because I'm a freaking goon. Okay. Yeah, everybody thinks that... I haven't even been drinking.
No, I'm saying like the drunk.
Oh, yeah, the drunk.
I'm drinking.
Yeah, I mean, you guys think my rants are crazy now. Imagine if I was drinking. 350. You go down to the hotel bar where you last saw Pat. Hey, Pat, you say, but Pat is passed out next to his drink. Well, you sure know how to choose them, Ophelia. You quickly return to your room to consider your remaining options. Cleopatra Slim, return to 340, or Antonio Tony, go to 21.
They just made you turn the page for no reason.
You know what's going to happen. It's going to go to Cleopatra Slim, and he would have hung himself in some kind of autoerotic asphyxiation thing in the closet, just like old Carradine did. And then you'll go to Antonio Tony, and he'll have some other chick in the hammock. You know what's going to happen. Or a guy in the hammock. Or 2 guys and a girl. Who knows? I don't know. Antonio Tony, he's crazy. He's got a hairy back. What are you going to do?
1 for Slim. 1 for Cleopatra.
1 for Slim. Cleopatra Slim.
2 for Slim.
2 for Slim? Let's just go ahead.
3 for Slim.
3 for Slim. Okay, we're going to Slim. Because everybody knows this is just...
Leave Pat a copy of Codependent No More.
And she's going to leave Brother Pat a copy of Codependent No More. Was that Alina?
That was Tommy.
No. Okay, you knock on Cleopatra. I mean, don't you find it kind of strange that it's Cleopatra and not like Osiris? I don't know.
2 for Scarface right now.
Oh, crap. So is it a tie now? It's too late.
It was 3 for Cleopatra.
Okay, you knock on Cleopatra's door. She answers, wearing... Oh, it is a girl! You know, that's That was really insensitive of me. That was really... Although I guess I was picking up on it, right? I was picking up on it, yeah. You knock on Cleopatra's door. She answers wearing a very snappy dress. Hi, Cleopatra, you say, but she interrupts you. Please, Ophelia, call me Cleo and come in, she says, gesturing to her hotel room. Ophelia, the room is gorgeous, whoever she is. Cleo must have tons of money. Is it her own? Are her parents supporting her somehow? You resolve to find out. You walk into the room and Cleo softly clicks the door closed behind her. So, Ophelia, she says, turning to face you, to what do I owe the pleasure of your company? She's kind of stunning. For a second you forget what you're going to say, but then you remember, Cleo, I'm bored. Turn to 537. Cleo, you want to go get dinner? I hate dining alone. Turn to 343. Cleo, I could use a friend. Things are a bit crazy back home. Turn to 348.
So what are they again? Without the...
They're lesbian, like every single one of them. So it's Cleo, I'm bored, which could be anything. Turn to 537. Cleo, you want to go get dinner? I hate dining alone. Turn to 343. Cleo, I could use a friend. Things are a bit crazy back home. Turn to 348.
He said, yes, it's a girl. That's why I said it was a Skinamax movie.
Yeah, good thinking, I guess.
And Alina said, Ophelia can swing both ways. Alina then said bored. So we got one for bored.
One for bored, and what was the other one? Or was it just a comment?
It was just a comment.
Friends, I apologize for taking that leap. Although, like I said, I thought it was kind of sketchy that they would, call a man that. So, I guess that's my own proclivities kind of showing through. But, yeah. Egg in my face. Egg on my face. But now this is going to be disappointing. Like, any one of you trashy, total misogynists, you're not going to get what you wanted out of this. She's going to go and she'll say, I'm bored, and then she'll say, I'm bored too. Hey, let's go jump off the deck into the water, and they're both died. And then, oh my God, she's on the water. I didn't even think about that.
Jim Malone said, how's it going? Will you tell me the stuff?
I'll tell him the stuff?
The choices.
Okay, Jim, the
Juno Malone.
What's that now?
Juno Malone.
Juno Malone?
Yeah.
Juno Malone. Cleo, I'm bored is the first one for 537. Cleo, you want to go get dinner? I hate dining alone. Turn to 343. Cleo, I could use a friend. Things are a bit crazy back home. Turn to 348.
That's our choices, right?
Yep.
We are 3 for bored, and then 1 for each of the other ones.
Okay, so we'll give it a second on that and let them get their votes in. But let's see. I'm always wary of the ones that take me directly to the back of the book.
Will you explain what we're doing real quick? Like, just that it's a choose your own adventure.
Oh, yeah, anyone coming in late, the non-entry, at least for the next little bit, probably, unless I come up with something for the next one, the non-entry episodes, I've been reading and leading everyone through choose your own adventure books and letting the live audience pick which direction that we go. And it's been a lot of fun so far, and this one in particular has got a really wry sense of humor that I like, so it's rocking.
So what are the choices again?
The choices, Ophelia has met a few people on this cruise that she takes. As soon as she finds out that her father has been trying to oust Hamlet from the throne by dressing up like him, and as soon as she finds out about that, she decides to hit the skids and gets out of there and goes on vacation. So she meets these 3 mysterious people on the boat, and she goes for Brother Pat, the drunken religious fanatic first, but he was totally out of it on the bar. So then she picked Cleopatra, the Cleopatra Slim, the world-weary adventurer, and now she's gone to her little boudoir, and she's asking her, or she's telling her that she's bored, that she wants to go get dinner with her, or that she could use a friend because everything's crazy back home.
Right now we're 3 for board, and 1 for dinner, and 1 for the other one.
Okay, so we'll go for board. 537. Cleo laughs. I'm sure there's something two people like us can get up to, she says. What do you feel like? Before you can reply, a huge explosion rocks the boat. Debris showers onto the room, knocking Cleo unconscious. Looks like I have to take care of the boredom thing. You're under attack by terrorists. Haha, screw this dating thing. You have 3 terrorists to kill. Run down to the side of the explosion. Turn to 68.
Oh, they didn't give us a choice?
Nope. How are you going to pass that up anyway?
That is true. She's an independent woman.
You burst into the lobby, and it looks like a war zone. Injured people are staggering everywhere. But time bombs aren't really a thing yet, so the terrorists... I mean, I guess I already let it slip there's 3 of them, but let's pretend I didn't. Must be nearby. Spinning around, you look for anyone suspicious. There's a man very conspicuously trying to look very inconspicuous as he leaves the hotel. Hey, you shout, and he breaks into a run. Looks like this is your man. You give chase and slam into him, sending him straight into a wall. He hits his head hard and falls back dazed. You pick him up by the collar. Who sent you? You asked. What? He replies. You slap him across the face and he laughs. So you close your hand in a fist and shatter his nose. He's not laughing now. In fact, he's in a lot of pain. Not gonna ask you twice, you warn. Okay, jeez, gasps the man. I was helping my 2 terrorist friends, Jorge and Margaret. They're in a coffee shop 2 blocks away. You mash around his broken nose a little. Okay, 3 blocks away, he shouts through the pain. This is awesome. You press your fingers against his eyes and he cries out. You wait for him to stop and take a breath. You killed a lot of people back there, you say. I think given our current cultural context and the fact that we're not operating with the benefit of hundreds of years of ethical development that some hypothetical future people might have, I'm justified in killing you. His only answer is to whimper. Did you know there's a name for that judicial framework? He shakes his head, and then you pull out one of his eyes with your fingers. An eye for an eye, you say. And he's screaming. You decide to actually break his neck and kill him, since that's what an eye for an eye means in its non-literal sense, after all. You then run down towards the coffee shop he indicated, coming in through the back door. Everyone is talking nervously about the explosion except for 2 people. Hey, Jorge! Margaret! You shout, and the 2 people who weren't talking both look towards you. Bingo. You pull up a chair at their side of the table and you throw your arms around their shoulders. Listen, guys, it kind of sucks that you blew up all those people, you say. What? Oh, that's crazy. You think that we're the terrorists, says Jorge. Oh, right. Ha, what a crazy thing for me to accuse you of, you say, your arms still around their shoulders. Let's talk about this outside, you say, pulling them up by their collars and dragging them out to the alley behind the coffee shop. You let them go and their demeanors change instantly. What'd you do with Patrick? Exclaims Margaret. Who's Patrick? The dead guy? I killed him, you say. He's dead now. Horse droppings, says Margaret. I don't believe you. Oh no, I can prove it, you say. You grab Margaret with both hands. Here's what I did to your friend that made him dead. Seconds later, Margaret's way dead body is lying at your feet with a broken nose and a missing eye. You look up at Jorge, who's staring at Margaret's body in shock. Do you believe me, Jorge? He asks. He hesitates, unsure whether yes or no is the right answer. You decide to help him out. There's no right answer here, Jorge. Sometimes life isn't fair, you say, and then you break his neck too. Them's the breaks, you say. So, go back to the hotel, collect your things, and get the hell out of here. This country is crazy. It's time to go back to Denmark. Turn to 305. Stay here. This country is awesome. Let's track down some more terrorists. Turn to 344. My God, this turned crazy real quick.
Are we even still following?
She is a badass.
That's what Mary said. Mary said she is turned into a badass.
Like, I don't know. She totally became almost like a hard-boiled detective, except then she starts just killing everybody in her path. It's awesome. Maybe this is like the manic-depressive thing. I'm not sure.
You got 1 for 344.
1 for 344. This country is awesome. Let's track down some more terrorists. This story is brought to you by
This country
Anger Management. What?
This country's awesome too. 344.
This country is awesome too. So there's 2 344s? Three 344s.
This country's awesome, right? I really want to stay, right?
Yep.
So that would be 3.
Everybody wants to go after the terrorists.
So far, yeah.
Since she's already killed 3 of them. Wait, did she get any? She didn't get any information out of them, man. Damn. I don't know. I guess if there was only 3 of them. So she's just looking for more terrorists, I guess.
Thomas said, "Stay here." Cleopatra's back in the room, unconscious.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess she's not dead, though. Cleopatra's just unconscious, so she can hang out. How many is that? Is that 4?
That's 4 so far, yeah.
How many people are answering?
That's about all we got so far.
Okay.
One more.
So let me repeat them again. She's killed everybody in sight, so basically her question is, should she go back to her hotel, collect her things, and get out of there because this place is crazy? She wants to go back to Denmark. That's 305. Or stay here because this country is awesome. Let's go kill some more terrorists. That's 344.
Ophelia went to Roger Moore as James Bond's School of One-Liners.
That's true. I mean, that's nth level James Bond quips right there. Although I think that personally, if I was in charge, I think I would have said, "Them's the breaks," and then done it instead of doing it afterwards. But that's just me. I don't know. I've never been a Roger Moore guy. I'm more on the Sean Connery camp, and to a slighter degree, I guess. I like me some Pierce Brosnan and that one guy, Daniel Craig. I think Daniel Craig embodies the cruelty. Well, I guess he embodies kind of like the no-nonsense action, and Pierce Brosnan inhabits the cruelty. And actually, James Bond is supposed to, according to the book, Ian Fleming said that James Bond is supposed to look like the old band leader Hoagie Carmichael, which nobody knows who he is anymore. But if you can imagine Pierce Brosnan, except with a slightly longer face, that's basically what Ian Fleming wanted Bond to look like. So if somehow I could have Daniel Craig's demeanor and Pierce Brosnan's body, that would be my ideal Bond. I don't know how I got off that tangent.
So I think that we are going after the terrorists.
So we're going after the terrorists. 344. I have a feeling we're not going to get what we want, but that's just me. 344. You decide to stick around. You make your way back to the hotel. Oh my God. You decide to make your way back to the hotel and offer your services to the local authorities. They're wary until you reveal that you've already tracked down and killed the terrorists responsible for the hotel attack, at which point they're impressed. The terrorists responsible were carrying notes admitting their guilt, so the authorities know that you aren't just a regular murderer. This is really lucky. I mean, it's a good thing that you thought to put that detail in your story, huh? Huh? Yeah. After the bodies are carried away, you excuse yourself and return to the hotel lobby where you convince a still shocked hotel clerk to extend your stay by another 6 months. And I may be staying long after that too, you say. Although the terrorists responsible for this attack have been taken care of, they weren't operating alone. Okay, says the clerk. There's a whole terrorist organization here that needs to be brought to justice as quickly and painfully as possible, you say. And Ophelia, that's exactly what you do. I don't want to spoil it all for you, but there's this one point down the line where you're base jumping off of a cliff down to the rocks below, and you pull back your arms to reveal a gliding suit you've invented. And you swoop down using that suit and crash horizontally into some terrorists so hard that you literally tear them a new one, where one is a gaping hole in their chests, not in their asshole. You put pointy spears on your hands. That's part of the gliding suit. So, that's something to look forward to. The end. Wow. There's a really nifty illustration here, too. She's holding, like, dismembered arms in triumph.
Went and killed all the terrorists.
And just chopped them to bits, I guess. Or I guess she could just be kind of like celebrating with the pieces of everybody that was blown up in the attack or whatever. So awesome. That took I think that what's happened here is they did. I think that Ryan North did kind of what they used to do in the old Choose Your Own Adventures, where normally you make a decision that they didn't want you to or was boring. So then it kind of like puts you back around to the place where you were before. But then since we just kept picking the stuff that wasn't what he wanted, he just threw us into this kill crazy rampage at this hotel where she's just breaking necks and like coming up with, oh my god, Leonardo da Vincian flying things with like spikes to put gigantic holes in their chest and everything. Oh my god, it's crazy. So, what time is it anyhow?
We have been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
I'm going for an hour and 20. So, maybe that's a good place to end it. Really, because I mean, I'm kind of surprised that we even reached an end on this. So I'm kind of curious as to what happens. I guess that the last.
Alina said she armed herself. With the
Oh, who said that?
Alina.
Alina said that Ophelia armed herself. Perfection. So yeah, give me book cam again. Give me book cam again, if you can.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to show you the cover again for To Be or Not to Be. I'll probably I think that I'll be using this for the next one because I went out and purchased it because it was so interesting to me. So maybe next time we can just kind of like make it a point to, I don't know, if we pick Ophelia again, we're gonna. I think we have a couple of choices actually, because at one point we were gonna. Well, we asked her dad, and we could have talked to Hamlet. Okay, so I mean, I guess there was one choice way back, but I'm sure that there are tons of choices after that. But
Surprised how like off it went.
well, like I said, I think it waited for you to double back a couple of times, and then when they realized that you just weren't having it, he said, "Okay, we'll just give you balls out craziness instead," because I wasn't expecting that at all, especially since she wasn't dainty in the slightest. I mean, she was just taking heads out. I'm surprised she didn't have like a battle axe or something. But I mean, as the ending showed, she was pretty handy. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You didn't go through all your books you got either. So.
I got. This one is kind of. Where do you want it? This one is kind of an homage to my late father. He was a big Clive Cussler fan, and so I actually remember him reading this one on one of the last vacations that we had. So, Clive Cussler, Deep Six. That was one of the ones I got today. And I also got. I mean, I don't normally like to get movie copies of anything if I can manage it. But it's Richard Matheson, and I need what I call just like a reading copy that I've got in my car if I want to read I Am Legend. I'll have this in my car, and it can get beat up, and it's not a great edition, so I can go through it and have it in my pocket or whatever. It's not a big deal. Actually, all over the place. I went to a couple of places on my way up here. I went to the library, of course, and that's where I found out about the Ryan North Shakespearean Choosable Path books. So I found some of them there. And then I went to Half Price Books on Corrigan Avenue to find some things. So this is another one I got at the library. It's called Familiar. Back. Okay. Maybe I'll read a little bit of this one. Elisa Brown is on a long drive home when the crack in her windshield vanishes. She notices other changes, too. Her body is curvier. Her clothes and car are different. Back home, she has a new job, a sturdier marriage, and a disturbingly altered sons. Has she had a psychotic break or entered a parallel universe? Her quest for answers hinges on seeing herself as she really is, or something that might be impossible for Eliza or anyone. So it might be some sort of weird parallel dimension, or maybe it's like a perception thing where she thought she was one way and then she has a breakthrough and realizes she's something completely different, and the people around her are different as well. Let's see. I got... Yeah, I know. Like that. Like I said, people say that they go out and they buy a lot of books. I'm like, yeah, hold my beer. But another one I got from the library, it's still got like the library markings and stuff on there. Building the Scientific Revolution. It's a nonfiction book about, I think it's Isaac Newton and some of those guys. But yeah, I'm always interested in like kind of like the old inventors, and Christopher Wren with the anatomical dissections that were illegal at the time and stuff like that. William Harvey, the traveling of the blood. So I'm always interested in those sorts of things. Ooh, yeah. I got another reading copy of a book that I think it's really rough when you see it on Bookcam, but they made a movie of it, The Ruins. It was one of my favorite, really, really super creepy, and for being something that kind of came off as a 70s sort of homage book, Stephen King called it the best horror novel of the new century. This is one of the few times where I think he wasn't blowing smoke. The Ruins is just, it's so simple, and it's got, I mean, there are some people who I guess could be offended by what's going on because it happens in the Mexican jungle, and sometimes there's questionable things that happens in movies, like when the ugly Americans show up in a native land, and all of a sudden they're attacked by some sort of aboriginal demon from a society they've never known, because they're far above it in their ivory towers and stuff. So, but I think that it handled it pretty well, and I think that it was actually more of a almost like a revenge story for the sins of the past. So I really liked it, and I guess you could kind of call it a what should have happened in the happening, if that gives you any kind of whatever. I've always been really pissed about The Happening, because that could have been so good. That could have been so good. I mean, number one, if you're going to have Mark Wahlberg as your lead in like a thinking person's horror film, yeah, think again. Book cam again. Flowers for Algernon. A really classic story, which also there might be some kind of, I mean, I should probably put a trigger warning out there, because this story is kind of, it's written in kind of a fluctuating hand and a fluctuating voice, really, because it's about a man with mental disabilities, and he becomes part of an experiment to increase his intelligence, and so it starts out and you can barely understand what he's trying to say. He's illiterate and all this stuff, and then as it progresses along, you can see that he's practically as smart as like a scientist by the end of it. And then, of course, as they always do, things go wrong. So
Justin said hi, and he said, "What a waste of Marky Mark."
Who's that?
Justin Bishop.
Justin Bishop. Yeah, it was a waste of Marky Mark. I think that he can be really good. I loved, actually, it's funny, I said that about kind of like the Thinking Man's Horror or whatever. I think that he came off incredibly intelligent and tactical and strategic in The Italian Job. I really liked him in that. Or, I mean, I haven't seen Pain and Gain, but I heard it's hilarious. So I think when it comes to I think he's really got a good sense of humor. I normally avoid Will Ferrell stuff, which I'm slamming the table again, and it's only because I found out that Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are doing a Sherlock Holmes parody, and Sherlock Holmes is my thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some Step Brothers. They could do a lot with it. I think I would have preferred if they wouldn't have used the names. If I'm a big fan of stuff that's not too on the nose. Like, if you could go through a whole movie and just by watching it, you knew flat out, with no question in your mind, that it was supposed to be Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. I mean, they could have done that. They could have named something different and it worked out fine. But, I mean, there's just so much Sherlock stuff going on right now. I just think it's too much. I mean, it's almost like doing a zombie movie right now, really. It's just so overdone. But we'll see. I don't know. I could eat my words. I'm totally available to be wrong about everything and everything. I showed you the movies. And I found this. I don't want to call it a trilogy because I'm not sure how many parts there are. But I was really interested in this. There's the... I don't know what you're doing with your fingers there. Okay.
I realized it.
But the first one... okay. The first one is called The Quantum Thief. The second one is called The Causal Angel. And the third one is called The Fractal Prince. So there's a bunch of, like, I don't know, like fuzzy logic things going on with this, where it's kind of this character. I just discovered it today, so I'm not really familiar with it yet. But Jean Le Flambeur. Every morning upon waking, Jean Le Flambeur must kill himself before his other... I love this so much, I can barely even say it. Every morning upon waking, Jean Le Flambeur must kill himself before his other self can kill him first. Could anything intrigue me more than those words right there? I mean, at one point in one of these, he has to actually, he has to find a Schrodinger's box. Yeah, it's the Fractal Prince. On the edges of a physical space, a thief, helped by a sardonic ship, which makes it sound like it's got an intelligence of its own, is trying to break into a Schrodinger box. I'm so pumped. Like, no one knows. It's just one of those things where, I don't know. I mean, maybe. The whole idea of this whole thing, I was just instantly... I haven't even read one of them yet, and I bought all three. Just right there. Sight unseen. I guess I slightly saw it, but I have no idea. I could hate them all, but the ideas were just so fresh and just so insanely wonderful. Just when it comes to inspiring all kinds of thought all over the map. And then all these crazy movies, which I already showed you. So yeah, when someone says, yeah, I bought myself at a house of home buying books the other day. Yeah, right. Come talk to me. I got a whole bookstore that happened that way. But okay, so that's the Diabolical Index, non-entry edition. There's a couple of things that I wanted to get to yet again. I wanted to remind everybody of the Cinematic Reality Indiegogo campaign that's going on for the newest Studio 605 creation. Brandon Pruitt is heading that one up. So, like I said, I've already read the screenplay, and I'm really pumped about the characters and how real they are, and the situation just seems totally believable. And it's one of those rare occasions. I've been reading a lot of screenplays lately. I'm involved with Midwest Horror Fest and Action Fest and things, and I've been seeing a lot of movies and a lot of indie stuff. And I'm not so sure that I've read one yet that had me so on the edge of my seat just due to the implications. Not that it's that. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's something that could happen to anyone that happens in this film that's going to occur. And I don't know. It was really gripping when I was reading the story. So go to Indiegogo. Is under Cinematic Reality. The Studio 605 on there anywhere? Okay, so just type in Cinematic Reality at Indiegogo.com and throw some money their way. It doesn't have to be a lot. They may have some cool gimmies on that one. I'm not sure. I think it's fairly recent, so I haven't had a chance to make it over there yet. And I wouldn't have any dough if I did, obviously. But I don't know. I buy them cheap. Everybody knows I'm a cheapskate. But and also Pointless Discussions. They're finally getting their shit together. I don't know if you got that earlier. I said throw some money at the GoFundMe for Pointless Discussions for for a new theme song, but their current theme song just says that over and over again. Get your shit together. So, who did that song?
Royish Good Looks.
Oh, Royish. Okay, cool. So, are they local? Is Royish Good Looks local? Awesome. So yeah, so they're trying to commission a new theme song specifically. I just wonder. I'm really curious as what it's going to turn out to be. If Pointless will be in the, I would think that it'd probably be in there somewhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the theme song.
Like completely personal for them. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So throw some money their way because it's I don't know. It's really neat when you see a show coming together like mine. It just so like mine's in French or like it's Timor or something like that, but if you listen to it enough times, it kind of sounds like it's saying "de-ball, de-ball." So it's like diabolical. I don't know. It's one of those things where you look at the grain of the wood for so long, you end up seeing pictures of the devil, and you see like Frosted Flakes, and you see School Bus. So, like the longer you listen, or if you listen to the Cinematic Reality '70s TV spot audio that I did, you might think that that's worth something. It probably isn't. But yeah, like I said, if that comes up again, that has nothing to do with, it's outlandish. So it has nothing to do with what the movie's all about. The movie's actually very, very simple, and it's going to be very gripping. So throw money over to that at the Indiegogo for Cinematic Reality, and go to GoFundMe and see about getting Pointless Discussions a new theme song. And also, Magic Squirrel Network, I saw a little bit of the embryonic version of the website that is getting put into place. That's going to have all of us on there, all the current lineup, and hopefully when we get that anime manga kaiju podcast, they're throwing around some names right now. The name that they're kind of batting around right now is Anamonkai. So simple, kind of rolls. I don't know. I liked it. I kind of mocked up a little bit of a logo for it. It's just I'm constantly doing that. I think that when you make something, when you're thinking of something, and they're like, well, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, and then you see a logo for it, it kind of almost becomes a little more real. You know, like around the holidays when you get a gym membership, it's almost like you're already working out, and you're not, and you never go there, and you end up fat polygoo, like me. But yeah, I was just looking at the smallest little half version of the site, and it looks really cool, and it's going to have image driven links to all of our recorded stuff for Pointless Discussions and Juice in the Morning and Heckles and Horror, and what's the other one called?
Diabolical Index.
Oh, Diabolical Index. See, I can pull off modest when I want to, but also it's got the game, the Let's Plays on there, and it's going to have everything. It's going to be really cool, and it really is something when you see. I mean, this will be episode 4 entry, non-entry. So I've had 2 entries. I don't even know why I'm doing that, but it's so different. It's a little more carefree with the choosable path adventure stuff that I've been doing lately, and it's really awesome getting all of you into it. It seems like everybody gets, and I don't know, it seems like everybody was there were a lot of people in getting juiced up this time, and I thought we had a pretty good thing going last time, and it seems like it was even more this time.
More views this time for sure.
Yeah, so
7 all day.
How's that now?
We're running 7 all the time.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, and I plan on keeping it going. I haven't quite chosen for next time how I'm going to compare and contrast what I'm going to put on there yet, but it's always a great time figuring out what I'm going to talk about, because most of the time it's something new that I've discovered and something that I've touched on in the past, and I'm kind of revisiting it and seeing what lines up. And actually, I think we're coming. I did Porcelain by Nate Southard first on my first episode, and it's probably coming damn close to the end of the pre-sale. It's probably on sale now. It might be I'm not sure. I haven't checked it for a while, but it might be mid-March. So Yeah, don't hesitate to go to Leth Press, LETHE Press .com, I think, and check around for Porcelain by Nate Southern, and check out his other stuff, Just Like Hell. He had one a thing called Drive. I think it might have been like a graphic novel, and there's one that says it's like Welcomes to Hollingswood. I can't remember what the name of the town is, but it's a survival. I'm not sure if they're zombies or if it's just the attack on a small town or what it is, but yeah, he's got a varied group of novels that he's done. So check him out. So anything else I ought to be plugging in there?
No. I mean, your bookstore.
Yeah, I guess catch me next Monday when I'll be live once again from Paradox City Books and Games in Rising Sun, Indiana. The Atlantean submerged capital of nothing. We're a capital of nothing. I mean, we got a lot of stuff. There's somewhere where you can go to a machine and put your money inside of it and not get it back. If you want to go there, it's pretty awesome. Personally, what's that? Yeah, it was a very thinly veiled description of a casino. But there are other things down there. There's a few new businesses in town, so come down and see me and check it out. Get some stickers and just support the show. Magic Squirrel Network has been really nice to me and to everybody who's putting the new shows together. So I guess that's all I got to say, really.
Have a good night.
And yeah, everybody out there, beware your human hearts. Diabolical Index, non-entry number 2.
Oh yeah, blow the candles out so they know they're real.
And if you didn't know they were real, let's see.
Mark said it.
I haven't celebrated a birthday in a while. There. Yeah, there you go.
Alright, have a good night. I'm turning it off.
Good night.
The squirrel was magic!